We're live.
All right.
Okay. Little technical difficulties.
As usual.
Per the common these days, unfortunately. We're going to bring in the best in the business to get this worked out, right?
Yeah, he's really good at what he does.
Okay. Speaking of best in the business, we were speaking to Juice about the chalk at running back. We determined that Tua was the chalk at quarterback, and now let's guess the chalk at running back.
Oh, hold on. I think you guys are going to do well,
Okay.
but you all need to just think about this a little bit.
I have a
I
guess.
have a guess ready to go.
All right.
Okay.
This might be a lock and load
Okay.
preview.
I think I know who you're going to say.
Say who you think I'm going to say.
White.
No.
Oh, okay. But that's not who I was going to say.
Okay.
So we're probably going to say the same thing.
I'm going Jeff Wilson.
Yep, there it is.
Okay.
Jeff
so
Wilson.
number 1 and number 2 so far.
Yeah.
White was number.
So Wilson is number 1, and Rachaad White's number 2.
I can explain why Wilson's number 1. It's just because he's the only one there.
Yeah.
And he's against Houston.
Yep.
He's that. He's
Yep,
lock and load.
he's a
The
lock and
worst
load.
rushing defense in the league.
So, should we start this conversation now since Tua's the chalk at quarterback?
Yeah, I was going to say I think that's an interesting discussion.
We've
Is
got chalk at running back, chalk at quarterback, and I'm guessing when we get to the wide receiver, we're going to have some chalky wide receivers.
Yeah.
Anyway, finish out the top five.
Yeah.
We'll get there on this.
so OU boy Samaje Perine is number 3.
So he's in for the injured mix. Other OU boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that he's gonna be the chalk bust of the week.
Bust. We're calling Perine a bust.
A
Okay.
chalk bust, yep.
Wrote that. So when you say bust, how many points are we talking?
So when he got his points last week, he wasn't very efficient rushing, and he got 3 targets and 3 catches in the end zone for 50, or not in the end zone, but to the end zone for 52 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I mean that's a pretty fluky stat number right there.
So what's your total points for the week?
I bet he gets under 10.
Under 10.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Stay away from Perine.
For what it's worth, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Wow. Juice
I
and Jared say.
I think of the top 5 running backs, he's my least favorite by far. It wouldn't even surprise me if Chris Evans, the other running back.
See, and that's what they always do, right?
Yeah.
Like you think it's going to be Perine, and then boom, Evans
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
20 carries.
Yeah.
Right.
I see that coming.
I can see Chris Evans being the first and second down back, and Perine being the third down back.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Okay, so we don't like. It sounds like we love Wilson. Don't
Love
Perine.
Wilson. I love White.
Yeah.
Don't love
Don't
Perine.
don't love Pirine.
Okay, finish out the top 5 or 10.
Kenneth Walker the third is
I like
fourth.
him too.
Latavius Murray is 5th.
Don't like him.
Eckler 6th. ATN 7th. Gibson 8th. Damian Pierce 9th. I'm not playing Damian Pierce for the rest of the year, just
Yeah.
for the record.
Yeah, he's a
he's
tough
made the
one.
list. Houston's just too bad. He's
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
player, but he's bad. I mean, they're just a bad offense right now.
And now we start the Kyle Allen's
Yeah.
era.
And then James Conner, and then Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs rounded out.
Okay.
Which Josh Jacobs is questionable.
He is.
So let me ask you a question.
One
If
of our
he,
finer guess the chalk performances were
Yeah.
midway through the process here.
if Josh Jacobs doesn't play, how interested are you guys in Zamir White?
Not as I think there's other running backs to play this week. I don't know.
Because I'm not sure at all. He is only $4,000.
I like the Geno Smith Metcalf, so run it back with cheap running back. It's not a terrible stack.
I mean, would Zamir White or even Amir Abdullah? That's the thing. Like, it's not even to me, it's not a clear cut sort of deal.
Right.
I got a question. Who do you like better, just randomly, Adams or Kelsey this week?
Man, I love them both
More
this
points.
week. Probably Adams is what I would, because they're forcing him the ball. It's just, I mean, what was it, a week ago?
Yeah,
he
it
had like
didn't look
20
like they were
points in the
forcing
first
the-
drive.
Kelsey, they're definitely not forcing the ball.
No, they're not forcing. No. Patrick Mahomes, he spreads it around, but like,
He looks pretty. Looks like Kelsey gets forced a lot of action these
I'll
days.
give you guys a sneaky running back play.
That's a tough call, though. That's a call I think I'm gonna have to make in my lineup.
yeah.
Michael Carter could be sneaky this week.
You like Carter?
I think last year Mike White played, and he dumps the ball off to running backs a lot.
Yeah.
Which plays into Michael
How
Carter's
much is Carter this week?
5,400. So he'd be like an interesting little pivot off some of these like chalkier running backs.
And they won't be running with Zach Wilson this week, so I mean
No.
that could be beneficial for everybody on that
Yeah,
offense.
it's just like, I mean, I'd much rather play Carter than Samaje Perine.
It's a great matchup for White to come in against Chicago, whose defensive backs are terrible. So
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be. It should be a high-scoring game. Even
Did you
though
guys
it's
see
not.
that interview of Zach Wilson when he's like, "Hey, did you guys scored 3 points in the entire game? Do you feel like you let the defense down?" And he just goes, "Nah."
Yeah, Zach Wilson's not my favorite NFL player.
No, I don't think he's the New York Jets' favorite NFL player.
Okay, let's do it. Wide receiver.
Okay.
You ready to start? Or you
I,
want
I think. Hold
We're
on.
hot. I mean, we're gonna do well.
I
We're
think
hot.
this is where you guys come crashing down to earth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm throwing down the gauntlet.
I thought I had so. Ooh, I thought I was gonna just yell Tyreek Hill's name out there, but
I have to think about whether the chalk is going for like a cheap wide
Right,
receiver
or like Hill.
yeah, or like Hill.
Or
Yeah.
Adams.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a hot take after you.
I already said mine. I yelled Tyreek Hill.
Oh, Tyreek Hill,
Number 2.
number 2.
Oh, I did not. Ooh.
So
Good job.
this is interesting. We'll see how everybody else is looking at it in the world. So,
Oh, sorry, that was early.
but I haven't finished my bit
A little
yet.
premature.
All right, Allen Robinson's questionable.
Get ready for it, though.
Yeah,
Kansas City sucks against wide receivers. I gotta feel like Van Jefferson's up there somewhere.
Hit the button. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well,
top 15, right?
he's all right. Whatever.
I don't even see Van Jefferson here.
Listen, they're gonna have no one else to throw the ball to, and they're gonna have to throw.
This might be the most controversial insertion in the pivot history.
I'm not saying I'm inserting him. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's a lot of breakdown in Jefferson to get to Jefferson.
I'm saying I'm not going to insert him, but I'm saying that it's probably likely that he's gonna perform.
That might have been like 10 levels too deep of thought. To
And
get
who's
to
the quarterback for the Rams?
It's Perkins, but they have to throw the ball.
Can Perkins throw the ball?
We don't know, but they're gonna have to.
Oh, man.
Perkins is out of UVA, right? Is that who that
I
is?
don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so we know who it's not Van Jefferson.
Is he even on the list?
No, he's not.
Maybe
He's
that's the
nowhere.
millionaire maker lineup
Yeah,
pick.
there you go. There's your variant player.
There you go.
Hey, you're gonna. Okay, so what's your other guess?
All right, my other
Maybe
guess.
not as deep level on this one.
Maybe
All
not
right,
as
we
galaxy
don't-
brain as that.
Yeah, that one was a little bit too. That was a little
I'm just
bit.
saying, I've been thinking about it a lot.
That had a
this
lot
week.
of Jared in it.
All right, Devontae Adams, where's he at? Where's
That's
he
a
at?
good guess. That's a better guess.
1, 2, 3. He's top 10.
Top 10. Okay.
Which again, I think that's a good play. I'm a little bit surprised by the chalk at receiver this week. That's why I said I didn't think he
I'll
was
be
gonna do
honest.
well.
I have no idea.
You want me to just go through the top 10?
yeah, just
Yeah,
go
let's
through the
hear
top
it.
10.
Okay, so Keenan Allen.
Ugh.
Oh God,
wait,
yeah,
hold on.
seriously. Nah, I agree with Matt. This is
God.
There is a thesis
I agree with
behind
Bing.
this play, though. There's no Mike Williams this week, and
Okay.
Keenan Allen's back, so he's probably the number one guy.
I'll write that down. No, Mike Williams.
what about Joshua Palmer? Is he up there?
He's okay. Well, so Tyreek is number 2.
that was my guess.
Yeah.
Just
This
for-
one, I don't get it all. Garrett Wilson at number 3.
I mean,
It's Mike White. Maybe.
yeah.
I guess.
The Mike White factor. Cheap. I'm gonna go with he's cheap.
He's 4,300.
Yeah.
He could totally. Yeah.
He can definitely pay off that. Price.
Actually, I didn't even think about that.
There's a receiver at the exact same price I like more.
Who's that? Give me
Traylon Burks.
I can write
Traylon
that
Burks. I
$4,200
like,
bucks.
I like
Burks is
Traylon
only
Burks.
4,200.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that's talking.
Paris Campbell's didn't move up at all either, and he performed off of his price last week.
Okay.
I've got some cheap running receivers. That's what I'm needing this week is cheap receivers.
F1 Terry McLaurin.
Yep, I like
He's been
McLaurin.
consistent.
Yeah.
I like this play coming up. DeAndre Hopkins, quite a bit.
Very
this week.
consistent.
Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf,
Higgins consistent.
Josh Palmer, Devontae, Tyler, Jaden Waddle, and then Traylon Burks.
You know what they're saying about Palmer is he runs a lot of the same routes as Eckler does. So last week, whenever we were shooting our shot for the number one spot. Yeah.
The seltzer gavel there.
Yeah, when we were shooting our shot to get first with the show lineup, I considered switching off of Tony to Palmer, but I didn't do
Ooh,
it.
that would have been a smooth,
Yeah.
smooth maneuver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tony was high owned in that league.
Yeah.
Tony was chalk last week.
Yeah, it did.
I was thinking he'd perform, and I wanted to just stay with everybody, but then he put up a.
Well, I fell asleep and didn't watch any of that game. What happened with Tony last week?
He had a target, and then he had he caught the punt return, I think, and then got tackled kind of funny, and then it messed up his hamstring.
I'll tell you what happened. He was in our lineup.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
We're known for
I mean, the
attracting
injuries
zeros.
have just derailed our teams this year.
Honestly,
it's
like-
been brutal.
It's been really bad. It's on average, it feels like we get 2 injured dudes on our
Yeah, but
lineup
More
every
positive spirit. We're transition. We're going to start building our team, right?
We need to go tight end, don't
week.
we?
Tight end.
Oh, we didn't do tight end. Oh,
No.
sorry. Oh, that's the wrong button. We hit. Sorry, we didn't mean being
We're good.
tight end.
I think you guys will do well. Here.
This is where I always struggle. I'm gonna just say Kelsey just to get it over with.
Okay, number 2.
There we go.
I was
I've
gonna
been
say
hot on
Kelsey.
number 2s.
That's what I
I've
was
been
gonna
big
do.
on
I
number
mean-
2s this week.
I think there's an obvious number 1.
Obvious number
Obvious
1.
number 1. All right, let me think here. Who did good last week?
Who's
Let
Atlanta?
me just say he's back and he's healthy.
All right, Kittle. No, Mark Andrews. Sorry, I
Andrews.
take it back. I
Yeah.
take it back.
Mark Andrews. So the consensus probably 2 top tight ends going into the season. Week 12, they're back at number 1 and number 2.
There's a big money difference between
Yeah, there's a
the
$1,200 price difference between Kelsey and Andrews.
Andrews.
Yeah.
I was checking the stat the other day. It's just for pure fantasy points. Did you guys know that Kelsey is 100 points ahead of every single other tight end in the league?
Would not surprise
To
me.
review back to the running backs, a name that I didn't hear you say that I'm really surprised I didn't hear you say was Etienne.
He's there. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. He's 7th.
Andrews Etienne's a good combo.
Yeah, it could be. Could
Yeah.
be. If you think that game's going to, shoot out a little bit, absolutely.
I think it could put some points. Or at least those 2 teams are at least capable of scoring, unlike teams like Green Bay and Houston and other teams that don't seem capable of scoring.
One thing I think that's interesting or to note about Kelsey this week is Juju is back,
Yeah.
but then a lot of the receivers are out for KC.
Who's some of the cheap tight end chalk this week? Because that's a place where a lot of cheap chalk comes from. Is the tight end position.
It's not there's not like a $2,500 sort of dart throw this week that I like.
Yeah, I'm feeling like today or this week for sure is a pay up at tight end and then build your team from there.
I kind of like it. I definitely like Kelsey this week. I think playing against
I mean, Foster Moreau at 3,400 isn't awful. That's a good game environment. Hayden Hurst, if you like Joe Burrow.
Well, commit. We got Fields hurt, so
Yeah, but I mean, he might throw a little bit more. you know?
if you think that Cleveland's behind Tampa and Joko could be somebody that gets an unusual, he's pretty cheap since he's been injured. What about Otten? He seems to be getting in the end zone.
Otten is way down there, but he's fairly cheap, 3,300.
Hopper, who got in the end zone last week,
Yeah.
3,000.
Logan Thomas got a decent amount of targets, I think.
What's his name? Juwan Johnson for the Saints. He's
Yeah.
been pretty consistent.
He's been scoring touchdowns for sure.
Well, let's build this lineup while we got this computer still humming and not.
Well, let's talk about
buzzing.
defense real fast.
Oh, we don't. Do we do?
But I mean, I just want to pick
We
you guys'
usually do
brains.
defense?
We don't normally do defense for
We can talk
this,
about it. We got time.
but I want to talk about it. So I want to know 2 things: who is your just straight up favorite defense on the week, and
Jacksonville
then Jacksonville.
paired with Etienne.
So even with them, you'd pick them over everything.
Yeah. I mean, if I was playing, no, if money didn't matter.
Yes, if money didn't matter.
Oh,
I'd say the chalkiest, maybe the chalkiest
Miami.
defense of the year is this week.
Miami.
The Chiefs at 2,800 against the Rams.
Oh, okay.
Against Perkins, yeah, that makes sense. And
think
They're 33% owned. That's
like-
really high.
I like
for
Kyle
defense.
Allen playing against the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins could cause some problems for him.
I like the Jets again. They've been really solid. I think Justin Fields is one hit away from being knocked out of the game,
yeah,
which could just completely just blow up that game.
I just like Jacksonville because they're cheap.
They are cheap.
Lamar Jackson is more than
Yeah.
willing to throw a pick or two.
Yeah.
I definitely fiddled with Jacksonville in there,
And I like Etienne.
If we need the money, I think Jacksonville is definitely a team we can go to.
Yeah.
For salary relief.
But it does make a lot of sense because the Chiefs are cheap
Yeah.
against Perkins at only 2,800.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs. If we're gonna pay $2,500 for the Jags, there's no reason we couldn't probably pay $2,800 for the Chiefs, right?
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. I think the Chiefs could score special teams and defensive touchdown this week.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, anyway.
So we're gonna build our lineup around the Chiefs.
Maybe.
I'd go ahead and lock in the Chiefs. I feel
You like-
it's
okay.
yeah. It's only it's $300 more than the Jacksonville.
Jags. So if
and
we
I'm
need
like,
that
oh,
300, we'll talk about it later. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start off. Let's transitioning over to building our team now for you. As you guys know, we play in DraftKings. We play in a league we call Right Rays League. That is a Sunday, Monday slate. We talk about the main slate a lot, but we do have the Sunday, Monday games at our disposal, and so we will use them when we have to our advantage. Anyway, let's talk lock and loads. I think Jeff Wilson Jr.
Jeff Wilson, yeah.
So, as we noted in the chalk, Tua was chalk quarterback, Wilson's chalk running back. I think we have to make a choice here. Unless we want to just onslaught this biatch, excuse my language, for those children at home. Christian, I think a majority of our listeners are actually children. So.
Hey, that's a weird comment. To make
Yeah,
on here.
I mean, we got the young kids love some DFS. I can't help it. What do you think? Onslaught or which side of the chalk?
Seeing as we're a collective
Or
unit
none of
here,
the chalk.
seeing as we're a team here, I think one of us should play a Tua stack with the receivers, and then the show lineup we should probably
Go a little bit off.
fade Tua and the receivers and play Jeff Wilson.
Or let's give the producer a choice. Is this a week?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's your
do
lineup, so you decide.
Do you want to play all of them? There's an argument to play Tua, Wilson, Waddle, Hill.
I mean, I love me Tua stack.
Maybe not both receivers, but
It's a game where I would play a lot of Miami and then play absolutely nothing of Houston.
just not running back with any. Nico Collins isn't a bad run back.
I don't think you have to run it back.
No,
But I'm just saying, at his price, Nico Collins.
This is like the
I-
Dallas
so-
Minnesota game that we
If I don't,
experienced.
if I
like
don't
2
think,
weeks
if I
ago.
think we're going to get slotted on one side of the coin, meaning one team's going to score all the points, I run it back if I find like a price saver. For instance, if I played Kelsey this week, I'm not going to be able to say his name, but who's the white receiver for the Rams? Swaronski?
Skwarnik.
I think I might play him. He's so cheap that it gives me such savings off of Kelsey that he doesn't need that many points as Kelsey performs at his level, optimal level.
yeah, well, which on that game, I'm not opposed to playing. Sorry,
I was just
go
going to
ahead.
say it might be a point saving mechanism to play Collins if we decide to play a onslaught type of slash.
I think we have pretty inexpensive receivers this week to choose from.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is, so Tony is out, and if you guys watched the Chiefs game last week, Justin Watson and Sky Moore both had a great game as soon as Tony went out, and they're both $3,000.
Watson's only 3,000.
Watson's $3,000 and Sky Moore is $3,000. So it's like which dart do you want? But they both can produce and more than pay off that
That makes me want to
price.
stack Mahomes though, because that way you can
Which was my first build, which was
you can play Kelsey, Mahomes, and
Yep,
play
Kelsey,
Scott, play
Mahomes,
play
or-
one of the cheap guys.
yeah.
My build, as of right now, I've got Mahomes and Kelsey.
Yeah, it's just a good build, especially if
It's a good foundation.
if you can put a $3,000 receiver in that build too. That really helps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we think that's going to actually score points.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm fine. What do you think of stacking Mahomes? Do you want to go?
That was my first build was getting Rashad White, Jeff Wilson in the running back
We don't need your whole
spots,
build.
and then stacking Kansas City and then building it from there.
Oh, because I think we all like Kansas City. I think
So-
it's a good build around. I'm surprised. I thought we'd all be Tua. I thought Miami would be the build.
I think it's going to be the Jeff Wilson show, so Tua might. I don't
So
know.
it sounds like we're all in agreement that we should just play Wilson in this lineup,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I like that.
I love Wilson this week.
Yeah, I mean that's going to give us some savings too. He's not. Let's get Wilson in. What about? Okay, so we know we want to play Wilson. We know it. So should we start just putting in some Kansas City, Mahomes, right?
Let me say something, though.
Okay.
I do agree with Mahomes, and I do agree with Kelsey. Do we need to sort of flip a coin as to who that other receiver is?
No,
gonna
we
be
don't
at
have
Kansas
to do
City?
that. I was just saying you could.
With the amount of money Mahomes, Kelsey costs us, any run back, if we're not running it back for the Rams, I think saving money in that game makes sense. Does that set me high here?
No,
it makes sense.
It
No.
does, but I think we're sort of, just throwing darts at who that other receiver is going to be.
So
We might be able to save some money elsewhere, you think?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we could, especially since we're playing Kansas City's defense.
Okay.
Kelsey, Mahomes, and then leave it at that.
What about running any Ram we want? Or do you like the Swansky run back? I talked about it all. He's what, like 3,200?
I don't think we need to mess with the Rams.
So I was reading.
That's
I was
definitely
reading
a high
this.
variance version of this lineup.
Another reason why I liked Van Jefferson is I guess Perkinson's has a history of throwing it to the slot guy, and that's where Van Jefferson's going to go.
How much is Jefferson?
He's 4,500.
Thoughts on Van Jefferson, Julio?
I think that's a
Kansas City's a good defense to run something back with. Again, what about Cam Akers at 4,900?
I don't hate Cam
But
Akers.
Henderson's coming off is now no longer questionable, so Henderson's playing.
No, Henderson is on the waiver wire.
Is it on the waiver wire?
Yeah, he's not a part of the Rams anymore.
I thought that was Akers, and now they brought him back.
No,
there's talk that Kyron Williams is going to be the guy for the Rams at running back.
Okay.
yeah, Henderson is not a Ram anymore.
Okay. So I guess the question we need to answer, and then I'll shut up: are we running it back with a Ram in the stack?
I don't think we need to, but I'll leave that up to you guys.
Van Jefferson's not terrible. I mean, they're the 32nd ranked.
You're right. It's a good matchup. Even if Perkins,
Perkins.
I know it's Perkins, but they're gonna have to throw the ball.
I like it. Let's not run it back right now.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so right now I have Mahomes, Wilson, Kelsey, and the Chiefs D. So are we stacking the Chiefs D with the Chiefs?
I don't know if we have to go the Chiefs D. Let's leave that open.
Okay.
I would least like to do Kelsey.
I agree with Kelsey. I'm 100% on board with the Kelsey play.
Then I would suggest if we're not going to play the Chiefs D, we look at Jacksonville
I love Jacksonville.
and
yeah.
Etienne.
Yeah.
At the flex spot or the running back spot, other running back spot. I just think coming off a bye week, they've had more time to work in plays. I think he's going to get more receptions this week than he's had coming out of the bye week. I think they're going to have more passing plays for him. They need to fine tune their offense a little bit more, and he's been the most consistent thing.
Would you prefer ATN or Kenneth Walker III?
I like Etienne over Walker this week.
Okay.
But
You
I do like that game, and I like that that is I think that's a point to look at. I mean, I don't think it's as clear as I just made it sound. I think Walker's but I like Etienne, but I'll play Etienne. We don't have to play Etienne. I'm just giving you what I like. So
Yep.
push back. I'm ready to listen.
No.
I like Walker. I think that's going to be a high scoring game. So I like that. I like getting a piece of that game for sure. What do you think? Walker, Etienne?
So I haven't built a lineup with ETN, but after hearing you talk about him, I get why.
Then let's go to. I think Walker makes sense as far as
How much is ETN though compared to Walker?
They're about the same.
they're
price.
almost exactly the same.
Almost exactly the same,
This is
okay.
a good talking point for the show because I think a lot of people are going to be looking at whether they play Walker or Etienne. I like Walker. We know he's going to get 4 or 5 catches. We know that
Right.
we're in a high tempo offense, right?
He's also coming off a bye, so I
Yeah.
think he's fresh.
That's why I
Yeah.
like both of them.
Yeah.
They both are coming off
Yeah.
buys. So
I mean, I love playing players that come off a bye. So I mean, that's
It's a divisional game. They got to
Yeah.
win. They're at home.
they're hot. They're
Yeah.
kind of hot. Things are going good for them.
I think it's a little bit of
I felt like Walker was kind of running into a rookie wall there, but I think
Yeah.
the bye week kind of gives him that week to freshen up. And
I think a lot of people are going to be playing Geno, and I think this is a good way to differentiate our lineups from Geno.
my first lineup had Geno in it.
Yeah, I think a lot of. I mean, he's number 2 quarterback this
Yeah.
week, so I think people are going to play the passing game, which is not a bad move.
Can we afford it? Can we run it back with Adams? 'Cause
Uh,
I think Adams is a consistent blow up right now.
He's definitely turned the corner. I don't know if we can afford it with Mahomes
That's
and
what
Kelsey.
when I'm looking at it. I don't think we can.
Yeah.
so we
Is
would
there-
have to. We
Is
would,
there anybody on the Vegas that we want to run? What about White? Do we want to go running back here? And
well, that's what I was about to say. Is I love White. So anytime he has the ball in his hands, he looks pretty explosive. And there's going to be Fournette is doubtful, so we're just going to assume that he's not playing. Right. And if White's the
we
guy,
have 2 Whites, right? We have.
Yeah, you're talking about Rashad White. correct?
Rashad White.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I was talking about Vegas White.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at run backs against Walker the third.
Okay.
But I do like the other White. as a potential running back in the flex spot.
I feel like he's in a great spot. He's probably going to perform pretty well against Cleveland.
What's Uncle Lenny's status?
I think he's doubtful. I don't think he plays this week.
No, yeah, he's very unlikely to play.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stick White in. He's going to be chalk, right?
Yeah, he's 5,100 against
if he
Cleveland.
bombs, he's going to be bombing for 41 other percent of the league, probably.
Yeah.
I think you almost have to play that. If you can get away with playing a free player like that in Ray's league, meaning 50% of the team's going to own him anyway, then you got to play him, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not hurting your lineup and it allows you to build up, right? So I like it. So right now I've got Mahomes, we've got Walker the third, we got Wilson Jr., we got Kelsey, and we got White. Did we decide on Jacksonville? We're going to put Jacksonville right now in the defensive slot for the time being?
Yeah, for the time being. Yeah. Wait, so you guys went with Walker instead of Etienne?
We did.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
I don't care either one. I mean, they both sound good to me at this
So
point.
we got Mahomes, Walker, Jeff Wilson Jr., right?
Yep.
Kelsey at tight end.
Uh-huh.
And am I missing anybody?
White at flex.
White at flex. Okay, cool.
Okay, so we got some receivers to pick.
We do.
We got 4,500. So, favorite cheap receiver. Get him out here, guys.
I have a play.
Play him. Let's hear it.
So the thesis behind this play is Arizona is in the highest point total of the week.
Okay.
Hollywood Brown is on injured reserve.
Okay.
Rondale Moore is out.
Okay.
So Dolch.
Greg Dortch.
Yeah, he's looking.
Yeah.
$3,100. When he plays, he does well.
To be honest,
He's questionable, but I think he's going to have to play.
He's a great play as long as he's healthy to
Yeah.
play. He plays in that slot position and he just gets targets.
Yes.
He had 10 targets last week.
I can't believe he's only 3,100.
I know.
I think it's a good value. And I'd like to run him back with the guy you mentioned earlier, Jared, is Josh Palmer at 5,400.
I like both those plays.
We get a little piece of that game. I think they're going to air it out on both sides of the ball.
So Palmer was a 5-star coming out of high school. He was highly recruited. Like Tennessee got him, and he was a star. And he is just now. He is good whether or not Williams and Allen are hurt. I don't care anymore. He's good. Period. Right.
Yeah,
right,
We
yeah.
agree with that. I hate when people are like, well, Allen's back, but who cares? Palmer's been practicing and playing and is good.
It's
And
2 years now he's been doing this.
Yeah,
I mean, he's legitimately a good NFL receiver at this point.
this lineup slid together pretty good. We got 5,200 left. I think Cooks is a good play against Miami. Miami has a terrible pass defense.
I'm not
But
against Cooks.
but there's plenty other to look at.
So something that
Watson.
That's what I was about to say is Christian Watson. So he's been getting more targets, but a lot of his targets are in the red zone.
We could make an argument for Samuel, who's getting carries in the red zone and passing targets. DJ Moore would be nice if he could have a big game, but he's not.
I like Watson.
I think Watson's a
I mean,
smart.
he's been
the red zone stud, right?
he's
Yeah,
been
the
guy.
red zone stud.
He's
Yeah.
been the guy the last, and it's been multiple weeks now. It's not a
Yeah.
1
No.
week deal.
No, it's five touchdowns in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I like it. Pickens is another good one at 5,000. We got a lot of good choices. Boy, this lineup kind of snapped together pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I like you guys gave me a lot of plays. I forgot all about Dortch. I've been looking for a $3,100 receiver, and Dortch is probably the perfect 31. How chalky do we think Dortch is if he is healthy?
Let's see. I think the thing that I like about him right now is that he's got that Q tag. So I think a lot of people are going to be off him right now.
Yeah, that's the only reason they should be off.
Yeah.
3,110 targets.
And I mean, we'll know tomorrow. We can pivot. If he's out for whatever reason.
That's the play I might be stealing for my lineup. It's Dortch.
It's a good play, especially with. I mean, you don't see
It's a great matchup, too, for him.
$3,100 wide receiver.
And I like
had
to run
10
back. I
targets.
think Palmer is on a breakout type of.
Oh yeah,
pace.
I think so too.
I think we could get another 2 touchdown game out of him. Right?
Yeah.
I like this lineup. So, like you said, there were some spin downs at running back this week. Allowed us to spend up at quarterback and tight end. We're playing kind of middle of the road when it comes to wide receiver, other than Dortch, who I think is a cheap, safe play if he's healthy. Wilson Jr. is probably going to be 50%, 60% owned.
Which makes sense. And
I think we're going to see some onslaught stacks for the first time. I think we're going to see some Tua
Could be. It's
Some
gonna
Tua
be-
Wilson.
It's going to be tough though, because with Tua, while he's cheap, Tyreek's like in the $8,000 range. Waddle's in the $7,300 range. Like, I mean, that's the bulk of your salary on three guys right there.
Yeah.
So, and then you can't even afford some of the reasonably priced running backs.
And I think it's pretty safe to say that Jeff Wilson has a high chance to outscore both Tyreek Hill and Waddle this week.
To me, Houston is more of a run funnel. They actually have a decent pass defense.
Right.
I'm a little bit. I think this time of the year is when offenses tend to start relying more on the run, and I think they went and got that second running back to use.
Yeah, which Mostert's out. So I mean, like,
Yeah. So now,
I mean, he's most likely out.
so now he's going to get the bulk of the load. Yeah, I think Jeff Wilson's. I told you, I think he's the.
Yep.
I mean, just got to lock him in and play him.
Let me just throw together a Tua Waddle, like Tyreek and Waddle lineup, just to see how much salary is left over.
If you
I
just
mean, if
onslaught
you
him.
did those three guys, you'd have $4,500 left over for each position.
Oh, just with Tua, Waddle, and
Hill.
That's not even including Wilson.
No,
It's hard.
Obviously,
It's
you're
hard.
gonna pick up some money tight end and defense. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a hard onslaught. I agree. I think we're going to see it though. I think we're going to see people because I mean, if people think that game is, if they think that Miami's going to score, 45, 50 points against Houston. Or
if
something.
you threw the Jaguars in, which is a reasonably cheap defense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That brings you up to $4,900. Let's say.
Who's the cheap tight end play? Play like
I
Kmet.
mean, maybe like you could play like Foster Moreau or something.
Yeah, 2,700 or something.
He's 3,300.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. I'm just like throwing a lineup together, just seeing if like what you'd be left over
No,
with.
it's interesting because this would be the other idea if we didn't do the lineup we're doing. I would say let's just put all our baskets.
I mean,
in Miami.
Wilson
All our
and White.
A's in the Miami basket. Put White in. Put put Dortch in.
I put Traylon Burks in, but we can put Dortch in.
I mean, he's cheaper, right?
Yeah. This is interesting.
You kind of liking this lineup?
No, I mean, it's interesting what's sort of left over. So, okay. So here we go. This
Okay.
is just, so Tua, man, I don't know if we need to go Jeff Wilson, though. That's so much Miami.
No, but we want to look at it. This is an onslaught. We're calling this the full onslaught. These people win the millionaire makers with these kind of lineups.
Yeah, they do.
all the time.
Yeah, they do.
So here we go. Tua, Jeff Wilson Jr., Rashad White, Tyreek, Waddle, Dortch, Foster Moreau, Travis Etienne, and Jaguars defense.
That's not bad at all.
I mean, that might be my
That's-
Rays team.
Yeah. That's not bad at all.
I mean,
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it at all.
No.
I think it's doable. I like our lineup. But if you love Miami as
Yeah.
much as some people love Miami this week,
Who is the quarterback for Houston this week? Because
Kyle Allen. I've said it like 5 times.
Oh
on the
yeah,
show.
Kyle Allen. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Kyle Allen there
Because
starts.
it's not Patty Mills anymore.
I mean, Miami's defense is also a pretty good play this week.
Yeah. They're,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Do you think Kyle Allen's better than Mills?
No. I don't. I think they're
I mean,
both.
yeah, I
I
think
think
they're
they're
just.
both on an equal level of terrible, right?
All right.
It's going to be an interesting week for sure.
Yeah, it will be.
Okay. Let's play some games. Favorite stack that hasn't been mentioned on the show yet.
Okay. Let me look at this.
I'm gonna go. Mine is. I don't think we mentioned it. It was Geno Metcalf.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I'm gonna run it back with the cheap running back. If Jacobs is out, or I might run it back with Adams and then go cheap at running back if Jacobs is in. What about you, Jared? You haven't said Trevor Lawrence's name all show.
I'm not going to say his name right now either. I'm going to go with. I like Tom Brady against Cleveland.
Yeah, we didn't talk about a lot of Brady. Juice mentioned him, I think, off air that he's not a terrible play this week.
No, he's not terrible. No.
So you go. Let's give me a stack, Brady.
So Godwin, Godwin, and then maybe I mean, you could go Mike Evans. I don't know how expensive that is, but Julio Jones is healthy this week, and Tom Brady loves to throw to veterans. So
You running it back with Chubb?
oh yeah, I'd run it back
Cooper.
with Chubb. Yeah, I'd run. No, Cooper. No, Cooper would probably be the better play. Yeah,
Cooper's coming off a good game.
a good game, and then he gets Deshaun Watson not this week but next.
He seems like a dome player to me, though.
Yeah.
What about you, Juice? What's your favorite stack we haven't mentioned yet?
I'm going to go a little off the board. I don't know if it's really off the board, but I'm going to go with Joe Burrow, Cincinnati stack.
No, he was the number one. He's the chalk, right?
No. He's not even. No.
What did I write Burrow down for somewhere?
I don't know.
Burrow, right there.
He's
Millionaire Maker last
2,
week.
3,
Yep.
4, 5.
He was on the Millionaire Maker.
He's sixth. There was a stat I heard this week that he's been like the top 3 scoring quarterback in 5 weeks this year. Like he's
So
just
Burrow Higgins, Burrow Chase,
I think you
Burrow
go maybe
Boyd.
an onslaught, like just
Burrow, Higgins.
Chase and Higgins or Boyd maybe. Just go all
I mean,
out.
if Chase doesn't start, it'd be like Higgins.
Run it back with Burks,
Higgins, Boyd, maybe Hurts. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
How bad is the Tennessee D?
They're not bad,
No.
but I mean it's one.
But the thing about the Bengals is they could throw 60 times, right?
Right, yeah, that's exactly. I mean, he's either feast or famine this year.
I like
it
it.
seems like.
Okay, Jared, give me your top shelf running back. We've been talking mid-level running back most of the show. If you were forced to play one of the top level ones, you know who they are. Who's your top shelf running back this week?
I would go with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, we didn't talk much about Henry this week.
Yeah.
We didn't even really look at him. We didn't really look at a lot of the upper echelon running backs, and that's because there's a lot of plays. Injuries have opened up plays. Opportunities have opened up plays. Matchups have opened up plays. So not a lot of top shelf, but you'd go with Henry if you're.
Yeah, I think he has a. I mean, it doesn't make. I mean, it makes perfect sense that he'd have an explosive game this week.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you want to spend up, but I feel like
I'm kind of good. I like Eckler going in the high pace game.
Eckler's always a good play. It seems
Yeah.
like.
I feel like he even disappointed a little bit last week. He didn't get in the end zone. I think he's due a touchdown this week, and I think he'll get over 20, 25 points.
Eckler and Henry are the top 2 fantasy scoring running backs on the year right now.
Even over Chubb?
Even over Chubb. Chubb is like 5th now.
Okay.
Chubb's had a couple duds recently.
That's right. What's your higher echelon running back play of the week?
I'm going to go with McCaffrey,
Yeah. Who did that? We didn't talk much about San Francisco at all. Who's their matchup?
the Saints.
The Saints.
And that's a defense. I mean, that's a game. That's one of those overlooked games where we're going to play 0 players from them, and it's going to be a 70-point total, right? Like,
Could be.
no, it's weird. That game has traditionally blown up. What about Kamara? We didn't talk about him much. It's a tough matchup for him, right?
Yeah, I don't like picking on the Giants at home. Their defense is solid. I don't know. I just like the game script for McCaffrey a little bit more than for Kamara. But Kamara does catch balls out of the backfield, so, you don't know. I mean, the other one that we didn't mention is we did not mention who's had somewhat of a resurgence is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We fought him off last week, and I was like, God dang it. He scored
Yeah.
within like 5 minutes. So it's like, yeah, that's awesome.
I just want to say that the week that I was on him, he was the highest scoring running back.
You
of the
did,
week.
you begged for him to play. So I agree. Jonathan Taylor seems to be back. Najee Harris seems to be back.
Yeah.
Coming off a huge week.
I think we got some questions over there.
Oh, we actually have some questions. Great, guys.
Mike White, Carter Moore.
Keep reading. CMC, little banged up. Debo, banged up. Like it. Herbert, Allen. Okay. Let's do the same thing for wide receiver while we let him formulate a question for us.
Yeah. Breathing fantasy football. If you could give us a question, we'd
Love to answer it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk. We haven't talked a lot of upper echelon wide receiver. We talked a little Tyreek Hill. Who are some of the favorite higher dollar wide receiver plays? If you're not playing Kelsey, then you're going to be playing some high dollar. I think Adams is probably the safest.
I agree with you 100%. It's going to be.
So Adams or Hill? You like this week better?
I'd feel better about Adams.
Line Star has Hill, and Line Star is a conservative projections. They have Hill getting over 30 fantasy points.
Wow.
Hill?
I've never seen a projection for a wide receiver over 30. over 30.
I don't know how you could get to 30 with Tyreek Hill.
Easily.
I mean, with Jeff Wilson being in the spot that he's in, I feel like it's the offense. I just feel like the offense for Miami, whether it's throwing the ball or running the ball, is gonna run through
You're
Jeff Wilson.
assuming they only can do one. There's people who think they might just do all of it.
But you even said this that Houston's good against the
I agree.
pass.
I think I would.
Breathing
Tyreek Hill's
Fantasy
way
is-
too
is
expensive.
giving us his stacks.
Favorite
White,
stack?
Carter, Moore. Sure. I mean, it's a millionaire.
I'm with you. I might be playing like a Mike White, Carter Moore type stack.
I think it frees up tons of salary.
It really does,
obviously.
and there's some upper level players
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
That's why I'm talking about the upper level players. Because I think there's some really good ones this week.
Yeah, you could definitely.
We like the upper level tight ends. We've decided that. We like the upper level wide receivers.
It's pretty safe to just go with White and Jeff Wilson at running back. So if you have a cheap quarterback, that probably opens up. I mean, you can get
Adams.
Adams
Kelsey.
and
The key is trying to get Kelsey and one of them, right?
Yeah.
Like Kelsey and Adams, Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, right?
Herbert, Allen, or Everett is an interesting one. To me, I feel like Keenan Allen is one of those receivers at this point in his career. He catches the ball and he just falls down. He's got no explosiveness whatsoever.
I'll miss the Keenan Allen explosion if I have to.
If he
I think
beats me, he
Palmer's
beats
the most explosive wide receiver on the team.
Yeah,
Period.
I'd be much more inclined for Herbert, Palmer, Everett than Allen.
Me
Myself.
too. Me too.
But
I agree.
I don't dislike Herbert at all this week. Donovan Peoples-Jones has been a great play.
He really has.
actually he
All
scored.
Cleveland has been a great play.
Yeah.
The quarterback's been a great play. I'm kicking myself that I didn't pick up Jacoby Brissett in some of my season long and just stuck him in because he's consistently scoring points, right?
So Donovan Peoples-Jones
That's not a terrible stack.
when he plays, he always scores over at least 10 fantasy points.
I like the Peoples-Jones, Brissett, run it back with White if Uncle Lenny's not playing.
I liked Peoples-Jones this week even more so because last week I think when was it the Thanksgiving slate or when did he play that we needed that value with Peoples-Jones and people were high on him.
Yeah. Mhm.
We don't need his value this week, and I think he's in just as good a spot.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be a lot lower owned. That's why I like DPJ. It's a good.
I
bet.
told you, Tampa. I don't play a lot of Tampa players, and I don't play players playing against Tampa, and it's cost me. I need to. I again don't have any Tampa or anybody playing Tampa in any lineup this week. I need to watch that because they seem to score a lot of touchdowns.
And you're right, Breathing Fantasy. Allen is as cheap as he's ever been.
There's a lot of interesting.
100%.
I agree with you. There's a lot of interesting ways to build the slate this week.
Yeah, there really
That's
are.
why I was talking about the higher up because we went a little higher at quarterback and tight end. But if you want to go cheaper at quarterback, tight end, there are some higher up plays you can get to if you want to go cheap at those spots, right?
I feel like just with the way the league's going, it's almost smart to just like pick a solid tight end and then build it from there.
Yeah, getting points at the tight end position is a key to winning Rays league because there's a lot of zeros and ones and twos and threes coming out of that spot. I agree.
And there's a lot of, especially this week, there's a lot of value at all the other positions. So
I really think the biggest adjustment that I've made is screw some of this $5,000, $5,700 receiver. I'm going down to the trash and playing. Right?
with Dortch, I wasn't on him.
Dortch, Peoples-Jones, Campbell, all these guys that you've been naming, these guys were in the 3,500s, the 3,800s. They built their way up to 4,500.
Right. Campbell his price didn't increase at all.
Think about Pickens. Look at Pickens' rise.
Yeah.
Up the price chart.
It's one of the things in NBA that I do. It's like you find a guy like Shake Milton. Like his salary is just kind of steadily increasing. but then all of a sudden, like there's a point where you hop off because he's not going to exceed that salary.
Right.
Right.
You know? What they call it, meat on the bone.
Yeah,
The meat on the bone is still there.
What is it? What is he saying? What is he saying now?
He's just kind of firing a lot. He's firing some
Isaiah
builds.
Likely's out, so Mark Andrews is needed for sure. Sure.
Yeah. Everything
Mark Andrews, if he's healthy, he's the guy no matter what.
Breathing fantasy football is making good points.
Absolutely. I agree with everything you said so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew's a great play this week. Like I was saying,
He's also showed us that there's some good.
I want to pay up at
There's
tight
some
end
good
this week.
cheap stacks you can build if you want.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go this week for sure.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you listening and breathing. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Hit that subscribe button, bud.
Yeah.
That'd be
Maybe hit
awesome.
share it with some of your other breathing fantasy football fans. We appreciate it. Thoughts as we conclude the show. One, the computer stayed working throughout the
Yeah.
show. That was great. I wish we
Yeah.
could do that where it doesn't stop at some point. What are your thoughts, Juice? Lots of ways to attack this slate, right? I think that was the point of the end of this was I like us paying up at quarterback and tight end, but if you don't want to pay up at quarterback and tight end, there's some really the top level plays should get there this week. So
Yeah.
like I said, Tyreek Hill, they're projecting over 30. I've never seen over 30. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's a lot.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but I mean, I could be very wrong. I don't know.
He could get there in 2 plays, though.
Yeah, he could.
Every time I want to think that this is done, he gets 12 catches for 180 yards.
I know.
So, okay. Any thoughts as we get out of here?
Quick update on my World Cup showdown. Let's see.
It hasn't started yet, right?
No, it started. I am currently sitting at 108th out of 118.
And it's Argentina.
So it's keeping with my
The
World
theme
Cup.
is continued.
What's the score of the Argentina-Mexico game?
It's 0-0.
Okay.
I'm so bad.
Why do you
I'm so
keep
bad at
doing this to yourself,
I just,
Juice?
it's so fun now. It's like it's.
How much does it cost you every time you?
I'm just doing. I'm throwing in a buck. It's
okay.
more for just the entertainment value of just how bad I am at this.
It's actually tempting, but I don't know if I need another thing to throw money at.
Yeah, I don't know. With NBA and NFL, I can't.
I'm enjoying the NBA, by the way. I'm
I
glad.
Oh, I
love
love it.
NBA.
I love it.
Okay, we'll be back next week we'll try to get a show in definitely at some point. We'll let you know. Until then, look for some shorts, right?
Yeah, actually, we're gonna keep doing the shorts. What is he saying at the end here? I can't see it.
Can't either. Take it easy. He's telling us goodbye. Well, see you later, bud. Okay, I'm gonna hit the button. You guys ready?
Yeah,
Ready?
let's
Nod
do
your
it.
head.
Yeah.
I like it. It was a good show. Just we're just one little mistake away from doing this.
Yeah, came back strong.
Yeah, it's weird. It's making that noise.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish I could play. We could get Mitchell to hear that noise. I think